So what's happened in the industry in the last month? The short answer is a lot, particularly when it comes to fire safety. Firstly, we've had some big leadership changes. Philip White from the BSR, he's the chief of the BSR, has announced that he's stepping down from his role in the BSR. MHCLG is going to be taking on the responsibility of overseeing the BSR from the HSE. That's a really interesting change. There's going to be lots of commentary over this coming month, but as of the 30th of June, the announcement's been made. What will that bring to the industry? Hopefully much more of an acceleration in terms of a focus on building homes and keeping them safe at the same time, not choosing one or other. The second big change is the government have appointed a new director of building, fire safety and resilience. This new appointment is met by both positive and negative thoughts in the industry. Some in the industry are keen to see a new person taking leadership and ownership of the issue and resolving some of the biggest challenges. On the other side of it, some are questioning why somebody's been appointed who doesn't have building, construction or fire safety previous experience. The House of Lords has also announced that they want a call for evidence from the industry about the role of the BSR and how the industry are finding the BSR. And last but certainly not least, Netflix have released a documentary about the Grenfell tragedy. There's many revealing and painful facts which the industry are now talking about widely, one of which is the mere £5,000 saved in switching the cladding from one fire safety rating to what was actually used on Grenfell. The second part is how wide the issue was of people not stepping up and questioning and challenging decisions made, whether that be throughout every part of the political spectrum or in the industry at large, the construction industry in every stage of the Grenfell refurbishment. Laminate glass has got a bit of light at the end of the tunnel. I had a meeting briefly with the BSR head of policy, and he confirmed at that point that the ADB consultation, which is going out in autumn time, is likely to include a couple of questions in relation to laminate glass. The good thing is that this follows the MHCLG making public the report and the findings about the laminate glass, which has been happening in the background for roughly 2 or 3 years now. We've been part of that process, and the good news is that that's concluded that it isn't a safety risk. In Ireland, we've now seen the new Part B document come into effect. That obviously includes a number of the things, including the exemption list. However, the Irish version of it does also have an exemption for laminate glass. That is a great move forward because it means that we're not going to have the same challenges we've had in the UK since 2018 when it was inadvertently banned to what Ireland are doing with their balconies and their external systems. And that makes for a better, safer balustrade when using that kind of thing. In the spending review, we saw the government announce extra money for housing. We saw a focus on competency and training individuals. On the flip side of that, we also saw the MHCLG have a reduction. We don't really know what that means for the industry just yet, but what we do know is the Gateway 2 stage still remains one of the biggest challenges in the industry. It's putting a lot of financial pressure on manufacturers designing early, and it's also still a massive area of uncertainty holding back a number of the biggest schemes across the country. That said, there is also green shoots of projects coming off hold, and we're looking closely at this trend because it's an encouraging sign of resilience in the marketplace. And lastly, I was privileged to be at the Vienna House scheme, which is a sustainable mass timber building made of CLT panels, both floor, slabs and wall panels, and that's had balconies clipped onto the outside of it, the whole elevation being finished in that week earlier this month. So in summary, fire safety very much the dominant issue across the UK and in Ireland. There's lots of leadership changes. Is that going to make a big impact positively or negatively? There's lots which could be debated. Watch this space for the next update. Across the EU and in Ireland, we're shortly to see the Corporate Sustainable Reporting Directive become mandatory. That will mean that many of the construction companies are going to have to report on their performance, and in particular terms in their carbon performance. What behaviours is this going to drive? We're yet to see, but it's likely to introduce a drive amongst supply chains to actually understand the numbers relating to scope 1, 2 and 3 in particular, and probably we're going to see more people asking for information about carbon related to their specific project. In Canada, we're also seeing a sustained drive for people adopting the passive house standard. There's lots of good work happening there in understanding it. Vienna House is one of those projects, but also there are a number of others being considered. Watch this space and we'll keep those updates flowing.